Thank you. I have a daughter, Nicole, who's went to JRC back in 2004. She's now still at JRC as in the adult services. And she was diagnosed with autism and then later with Landau-Kleffner syndrome. As the years went by, she got progressively worse. She had brain surgery to remove the epilepsy, which helped with her receptive language. But her behaviors continued to be extremely severe, to the point that she would constantly punch her eyes like this, constantly. And I used to be a martial arts instructor, and I used to block, and there was no way you could block those punches. Those were hard punches to the eye. She was doing about 1,000 a week. We had to pad the entire room in her bedroom. She lives with us. She still lives with us. We had to. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go on vacation. We couldn't. At night, we would hear her banging her head constantly all night long. She would run out, pinching constantly her face and her body, her breasts, black and blue. You get the picture. She went to the Mesa Center. She went to the LCDC Center. She went to the Lighthouse. She went to Perkins School for the Blind. She went to the behavioral program, the neurobehavioral program at the Mesa Center. These are all excellent programs with very devoted teachers and excellent staff. They couldn't help her. They couldn't stop her. So finally, the Boston School District, the ETL, suggested the JRC because of some of the progress she had seen in some of the children, and I went to see it. We decided to send her over there, and I refused to allow the GED because it's so counterintuitive to what I love my daughter. So I refused to allow it. And they were fine with it. They allowed me to keep her in the school. They used other methods to try to keep her safe, the restraints, arm splints, and so forth. But Nicole was not making any progress. When she'd come home, it was the same story, the same scenario. I agreed after a long time, and the hardest day of my life was going before Judge Suit and asking for them to allow her to use the GED. I told my wife, we'll give them 1 month. If I don't see immediate progress, she's off it. They put her on the GED. She had a few applications the first day. A few days went by and she had one more. And from that point on, she had an application once every 3 months, 2 months. And they were usually for very severe behaviors. I don't allow them to use it for any other type of behavior. That contradicts prior testimony. They are fine with it. They have not asked me to take her out of there. Because of that, now she gets one maybe once every year or 6 months. I mean, it's been a long, long time. I can't even recall. She lives at home with us. At home, she doesn't wear the GED. It's there in the house, and I remind her that if I see the antecedents, I tell her, you're going to have to wear the GED. She'll stop. She has to dress well to go to school. She takes really good care of herself. The staff is extremely loving to her, always has been. That's one of the things I love. I know them well. My wife knows them very well. We've been able to go on vacations to Florida every year, to Virginia Beach. We are able to go to the movies. We're able to go to dinner together. We have a life. And she lives with us, and that's the way I want it. My biggest fear is that we'll lose all this ground that we have gained. That she might return to those horrible days where she was hurting herself so badly. She knocked out my wife a couple of times with headbutts before the GED. And if she were to go back to that state, it would be just a matter of time before we'd have to put her in an institution or she wouldn't be able to live with us anymore. So, you know, I know there's a lot of emotion and all this. A lot of these are articles that have been written. I spoke one time to a reporter all about my daughter, and the Boston Globe, the only thing they did was post torture versus love. Not one word about what I told them about my daughter was in that article. You can't believe everything you read. And there's a public outcry against this and exaggerations about what they're doing at the school. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for my daughter and for my life. And, you know, I'm not a crazy person or an uninformed person. I'm an accountant. I'm also an ordained permanent deacon with the Archdiocese of Boston. I work very closely with Cardinal Sean O'Malley. I studied psychology when I was in school. All that doesn't mean anything. What means something is I have a daughter who has a life now, who learns, I taught her how to ride a bicycle, who can go swimming, who can go on vacation, who goes to school and comes home and is happy. And she still goes to JRC, but she's in the adult services program. I won't say anything more, but I really hope that you'll have and pray that God will grant you the wisdom to see clearly the right path for these children. Thank you.